This is the Milo Beasley Show. This is the Milo Beasley Show. There's only one thing you need to know. This is the Milo Beasley Show. And now, here's your host, Milo Beasley.
And welcome to the Milo Beasley Show, episode number 358. Oh my God, I can't believe it. And it's almost Halloween. Wait, where is he? Frankenstein. It's Frankenstein's monster. I know that. So please help me welcome our next. I don't know where I'm going with this. Please help me welcome our guest, Kelly Murtagh. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you. I love Halloween. So I appreciated your little Halloween shout out there. Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Monster. Technically the creature, right?
Yes. I love Halloween, and here I'm in Orlando, and Halloween starts like August 1st around here.
I love that. I appreciate that.
All of August, all of September, all of October, and then immediately goes to Christmas on November 1st.
Yep. I so hear that. I kind of split my time between, I'm in Southern California, but New Orleans is like, I'm from that area. It's home. And New Orleans is amazing for Halloween. It's similar. It's like August is rolling around. It's like, okay, let's get the pumpkins out now.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. I love how your shirt matches your guitar strap in the back. That's amazing.
Oh my gosh, not planned, but I do love rainbows. So it was, probably happened at some point.
Absolutely. I have so much. So like was it June? I go crazy because every company has goes Pride crazy.
Yeah.
So like Converse always does like rainbow stuff, like shoes and all these companies. So I just like load up on my rainbow stuff for the year because
awesome. Likewise, I love Pride and I love rainbows, and I'm all about both. So like, I love it. I have rainbow socks. I have rainbow shoes.
100%. Yeah, I have I have way too much, way too much, I think, for a straight white guy in his 40s. So yeah, I'm so excited to have you on the show. I do have to say, I watched Shapeless last night before bed as research, and was not able to sleep. So thanks for that.
Okay, I don't know if I should say I'm sorry or you're welcome.
I was like, well, of course I should watch this before I chat with her. And then I was like, okay, in the beginning, I was like, okay. Right. Can't buy brownies, can't buy cookies. I get it. And then when things started happening towards the end, I was like, huh, well, so much for sleep. So I have to ask about Shapeless. So you wrote this, right?
Yes, I co-wrote it. It's of my own creation. It's based on, it's pretty autobiographical. So it's very much based on my real life experience with bulimia and how it affected my singing voice. And I starred in it and produced it as well. So it's very much been this thing that's been with me for a very, very long time. So the fact that you just watched it and people can see it is a miracle. And I'm very thankful. Thank you for watching it.
Yeah. I thought it was fantastic. Little, like I said, a little bit creepy. So obviously, so did that come from a background, a true to life background? Obviously not eyeballs in your back, but the story, the background of bulimia and eating disorders.
Yes, it did. When I went to treatment for bulimia, I was thankfully fortunate enough to go to treatment for bulimia 12 years ago. And it was there that I first had the idea for Shapeless. I'm an artist, I'm an actor. I've always looked to art to process the world around me and to experience different experiences and find that sense of empathy. And so at that time, I was really looking for something. I was looking for a book. I was looking for a movie. I was looking for something that was maybe like authentically describing what this was like. And the only thing I came across were these either it was like an after school special, or usually in film and TV, eating disorders were treated like the punchline of a joke a lot of times.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. And it was this experience where I just was like coming up dry. And I was like, what? Nobody was really just talking about eating disorders. It's still this topic that is not talked about enough, in my opinion. So I really had this idea back then. I was like, gosh, I would love to create a film that speaks to the authenticity of what it's like to live in this horror. And you know, write it, act in it. Like I really, like I felt this, like I really want to do that. And then I immediately, you know, that mean voice that comes in and tells you like, who do you think you are? So that voice came in and was like, what? No one's going to watch a movie about bulimia. What are you thinking? And so that was kind of the very first impetus of like where it began. And it's very much, was based on my own experience of bulimia. And I feel so fortunate and thankful that it is now what it became. I first started writing it when my daughter was born. She was about 4 months old, and I'd like taken a couple cracks at it, but nothing really was flowing. I did a screenwriting class. I was kind of trying to like get there, but nothing was really flowing. And when my daughter was 4 months old, I had one of these moments where I was holding her and it was just like, oh my gosh, like time is going by really fast. The world is really big and scary. How can I help her? Like, how can I provide a sense of safety if she feels these feelings and is like feeling the way that I felt? Like, how could I create a safer world in a way for her? And that's when I just got this first draft down. And that first draft is what I sent to our now director, Samantha Aldana. And thankfully, she saw a little scrap of something in there that seemed promising. And from there, that's when things really started to take shape.
Take that part of the, but yeah, the only is, as I think about it in the entertainment realm, again, like you said, it's always the punchline of a joke. And the only time I ever have known for it to be taken serious was an episode of Full House, where with DJ, where she, you know, wouldn't eat, or I think she, you know, so it was the same. You remember that episode as well?
I'm like, do I? I don't know if I ever saw that episode, but I used to watch so much Full House. So I wonder if I watched it and it was like before maybe I was struggling with it and didn't process or land, but I want to go back and get my hands on this.
Yeah. Yeah. There was an episode where DJ, where, you know, she thought she was fat. So, you know, she wouldn't eat, or if she did, she, you know, threw it up. So, you know, that was the only other time that I can think of it being taken serious. And I like the way that you did it too. Again, I'm a huge horror fan, you know, huge Halloween type fan. So, for it to be explained in that type of realm, I thought was very, very interesting.
Thank you. I also love horror. I think horror and, you know, these genre films you can really, anything is possible, right? I mean, you're literally in the sandbox of fantasy worlds. It's like, okay, we can be really symbolic with this, you know, like we can describe this in a way that perhaps could be palpable for someone who is really on the outside of something like this. And there was something like very intrinsically difficult about creating a film about an eating disorder, because one, it's super complicated. It's hard to describe. It's its own horror, really. So it's like a genre film about it made sense. And then also we wanted to be super, super sensitive with it, not glamorize it, not do anything that would be disrespectful to someone who is struggling with this. And so that was something that was like of utmost importance to me. And thankfully, Sam, always, you know, really trying to find that balance of like, where do we lean into the horror and where do we pull back and just let the eating disorder be the horror?
Right. Was it easier or harder to do those scenes given your experience?
I feel like some days, the definitely like the binging and the purging scenes were very vulnerable. They were like that was probably those were the most difficult days, I would say. I feel very fortunate because I had like a very close relationship with Sam and felt very supported on set of just like, okay, this is what I'm going to need. And those days were very small. It was a closed set. I would take time alone to just kind of like get into a mindset. And I felt really fortunate to be able to tell this story. Like I felt like, okay, this is the story I'm meant to tell. This is the character I'm meant to portray. And it felt bigger than me, if that feels, I mean, it very much was very powerful and personal for me because it was a catharsis in a way of expressing like these feelings surrounding what was going on and being so vulnerable and portraying something so private that I'd never really quite communicated before. Felt very cathartic and releasing for me as an individual. And then I really I wanted to create something for someone, or my hopes were to create something for someone else who struggles with an eating disorder to watch that and say, that's what it's like. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just watch that. That's what it feels like. And hopefully for someone who hasn't experienced it to say, that's what it's like. Because I think there's this huge misconception around it being this extreme diet of vanity, when it's really not. Like,
Right.
that's sort of like a symptom of it in a way, but at the root, that's not really what it's about.
Absolutely. You mentioned Samantha Aldana, and not to change courses and go from one extreme to the other, but you also teamed up with her for Zoo Crew, a
I
children's book.
did. A children's book. I like that you just took it to the other pendulum swing, the children's
Yeah.
book, like I love it. But it's fantasy again. It's Sam and I very much shared in a love of fantasy, a love of children's books, a love of also horror, a love of these things that are make believe. And so while we were in I can't remember exactly where Zoo Crew. I think Zoo Crew began more in like in the post-production phase of things. Maybe I had the idea for it in pre-production, but it was definitely simultaneous. Like, things were happening simultaneously. Like, we'd have a shapeless call and then be like, okay, now period for Shapeless. Let's go to Zoo Crew now. But I think it was nice to have the balance of the light.
I was going to say, how do you do that? But at the same time, it was probably good to have that to break up that mind, the mind track of Shapeless.
Yes, there was very much a sense of play in both ways. And there was play in both realms, but this was definitely more of a straightforward type, I guess. And Samantha Aldana is just super multi-talented, as we've seen. She's an incredible director and writer, and she's this incredible visual artist, which I think really informs her directing. There was such a tangibility and just this like palpability, I guess, in the way that she's directed. And I was such a fan of hers previous to Shapeless in the films that I'd seen. We'd known each other in the New Orleans film community. And so we just kind of leaned into this other genre. So Zoo Crew is this children's book. It's for age, I would say like 0 to 5, but kids of all ages, really. And it's teaching kids like Louisiana and New Orleans words, because there's a lot of different words and different vocab going on down there.
Right.
So that's, again, also inspired by my daughter, Fallon, who is, my just heart. And yeah, so that's where that came from too. I think we maybe needed that sense of breath.
Right. Absolutely. Now being in California now, and a horror aficionado, do you ever get a chance to go out? Have you done Halloween Horror Nights?
No, but I want to. I was just talking to my partner earlier about like, we need to get to a haunted house soon. Like, let's do it. I've never done it. Have you done it?
I'm in Orlando, so we have it here. That's where I was last night. We talked before. I was at Halloween Horror Nights and then had to come home and do the Murphy bed behind me.
And watch Shapeless. No wonder you didn't sleep.
Right. Yeah, so that's where I was last night, and they actually have a house there. They've had a couple in the past, but they have a house there based on some Blumhouse books or movies.
Oh, cool.
So, which made me think, again, a little weird segue, but you did Bingo Hell.
Yes, Bingo Hell was fun. It was definitely fun. That was a Blumhouse film. We shot that in New Orleans. Gosh, at the beginning of 2021. So it was like peak lockdown. This was really before people were vaccinated or anything. And New Orleans, I had been in California for a few months and I hadn't been back to New Orleans in a while. And it was around Mardi Gras. And that was the year like Mardi Gras was canceled and it was so eerie. It was so quiet, like around town, like nobody was playing music. I was just like, it was its own weird horror film, like being in New Orleans with no music and the quiet. It was so strange. So I'm very thankful for that because it almost felt like summer camp. You know, we were all in like lockdown in the same hotel and we very much like would, you know, hang out together because we were in like a little COVID bubble. But Bingo Hell was super fun. That character Raquel that I played was a fun character. She was a spitfire. She was saucy. She was fiery. She was explosive. And that's something that I am not usually in my like day-to-day life. So when I get to like dip into those types of roles, it's really fun. And then I got to die. I mean, it's always fun to die. It's always fun to die. It's always fun to get possessed, you know, just
so butterflies. I mean, you were in the Purge TV show. So do you see this as a genre that you could really sink your teeth into in that horror genre?
Oh man, I would love that. Again, I love horror. I think again, it's dipping into the world of make believe, and I think that there's something so impactful about, can be very impactful about horror when you can be symbolic of these bigger issues, these social issues, these things that we're dealing with, the uncomfortable conversations, you know, in life. And again, it's fun because again, it's totally make believe. Like I would hope that the purge doesn't really happen in real life, but being trapped in a cage and like fighting for my life for a few weeks on a TV show, like that was so fucking fun.
Do you think you could survive a night?
Oh my God. I hope so. You know, I feel like I think I could survive a night. I'm not sure how long I would survive. I think about like, I drink a lot of water. So if someone like cut off my water source and then like I had no bottled water or something, I think I would die in like a very random lame death. Like I think I would die of dehydration or something.
I thought you were going to go a complete opposite way. I thought you were going to say that you drink so much water that you would have to pee a lot and that would ruin your hiding spot. You would have to eventually ruin your hiding spot and then die because you got found out.
Maybe, I don't know, but like I think I would survive. I am a fighter. I'm really strong, but I am really clumsy. So if it was like a matter of escaping or like needing to be quiet and like be sneaky, like I'm not sure. I think I'd be more of like a bludgeoning force than like a sneak attack type vibe.
I definitely couldn't do the quiet thing.
You couldn't do the quiet. Do you think you would survive?
I think I do think I would survive. I don't think I could. I mean, maybe if my life depended on it, I don't know if I could kill. So I wouldn't be one of those that
exactly.
Like,
I don't think I could actually
killing for fun.
No, I would. It would be in total self-defense, and then I would feel so guilty and ashamed about it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. I wouldn't be able to actually do it.
Yeah. I mean, so have you watched the other the other Purge movies?
Yeah, I watched like the original, like those first like two, maybe I'm not even sure which one we're on
like
these
5
days.
or 6 now, so it's crazy.
Okay, I definitely haven't seen all 5 and 6, but I've definitely saw like I think the first 2.
Yeah, there's been a lot of them. I saw the first 2 or 3, but then after I was like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, well, there's something really scary about that concept because it's
100%.
right? Because like we look at the world, we look at the world that we live in, and we're just like putting it into that context is
Right.
terrifying. It's like, gosh, I mean, maybe it's not that far off, which is a really scary concept.
Real things. Okay. Freddy Krueger, Jason, Michael Myers, those are entertaining. But when it comes to like The Strangers or, things like that where it's real life and people
Yeah.
like that's what freaks me out. What really freaks me out though is like Exorcist movies
Oh God, I love those movies. I
or
hear you though.
anything with like a Ouija board, any of that
Yep.
type stuff.
Uh-huh.
I'm 100% skipping out on.
I hear you. Is it because you believe in ghosts? And like
Maybe, but not
the
to be a
spirit?
spoiler, but that might be a question that we ask later on.
Okay, yeah. Like my favorite types of horror films are the ghostly ones.
All right,
It's
so
the,
let's all right. So top 5, we'll go with your top 5 horror movies.
oh gosh, this is gonna be hard because I forget names and then they all run together sometimes. Would Black Swan be considered a horror?
Oh, I think so.
Okay, that might be more of a thriller horror, but I love Black Swan. I loved Get Out.
Yes.
Loved Insidious. That one was really scary.
Too real for me. I won't watch.
For real. Oh, you know which one I loved was Hereditary.
Okay.
Okay, what am I on? Was that
Things,
4?
again, too real.
And these are in no particular order, and I'm gonna think of like 9,000 more once
Oh,
we're
of
done with
course.
this. Of course.
Of course.
I'm trying to think of another one. I don't know. I can't think of another one right now. I said, yeah, definitely Hereditary, Insidious, Black Swan, Get Out. And there one that I just watched recently that I really loved was Nope, the new Jordan Peele.
I haven't seen that one yet, but I've
Okay,
heard
Nope was great too. And I'm going to think of like 9,000 more once I'm not thinking about it.
Do you go Halloween crazy? Do you decorate? Do you
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I go
Pumpkins
crazy. Yeah.
everywhere?
I just moved, so I've been a little delayed in the Halloween decorating, but usually it's like beginning of September. I'm getting the decorations out.
That's fantastic. Now, do you keep them up kind of through November, or do you just go straight in?
Yes, I do. I'm like, well, they're Thanksgiving decorations. I might like take down a ghost or a pumpkin and say it's more of like a harvest theme, but no, I ride it out until December. From like beginning of September till and then January we start Mardi Gras season in New Orleans. So I like to decorate for things.
Right. Yeah, we have Mardi Gras here at Universal Orlando, so that's always
What? Really?
Yeah. They have a parade. They do beads. They do everything. Yeah, you got to come to Orlando.
Okay. Who knew?
Come to
I had no idea.
Yes.
Oh man, that's
all we
yeah, I
have.
know. It's like, I'm curious what Disney World Mardi Gras would be like. Well, there is a big misconception with Mardi Gras where it's actually pretty family friendly. Like when you're actually on the parade routes, Bourbon Street is Bourbon Street, but
Right.
it's good. It's good. It's good for the soul. I think everybody just stops and you just dance. You have fun. You're listening to music. You're watching moving art, the floats and the costumes. And it really is like this cool reset of life where you just kind of pause and have Mardi Gras for a little while.
That's great. Oh, gosh,
Yeah.
I could definitely use a pause like that. And you mentioned Disney, and speaking of Disney, you were on what is that, Ultraviolet and Black Scorpion as well.
Yes. Oh, Ultraviolet and Black Scorpion was so fun. It was such a departure from Shapeless and Bingo Hell, and it definitely was. And it was something that was so really special and poetic about it for me personally, because I used to watch all those Disney original movies and shows when I was in middle school, and I would just watch them and be like, man, wouldn't it be so cool if like I could be an actor one day, or if I could be on a Disney show one day? And I was really having that moment when I was getting to do it, just like, whoa, this is just infinite gratitude for being where I was. And that particular show was about a middle schooler who finds an enchanted luchador mask and becomes super fast. So she becomes ultraviolet. So she's like a little, stops crying. They go on little capers with her uncle. And I was a middle school teacher in her middle school. So I wasn't aware of like the superhero, supernatural stuff going on, but I would like to think in some alternate universe that like that middle school journalism teacher becomes like a super villain or something one day.
Now, you said you're tough. Do you think, what would be your wrestling alias if you were to find a luchador mask?
Oh, I think, that's a great question. I think like the name.
Yeah, name and like, I guess if maybe like a character type.
A character type. I feel like I feel like I would definitely have a super awesome cape because like capes are the best, obviously. And I think, well, I guess if we want to keep it New Orleans, maybe it would be like purple, green, and gold.
Ooh.
Maybe I would have like a cool like music aspect where I had like this cool, like maybe I would have a song that would like lull people to sleep and then I would like pile drive them or like, I don't know. But what my name would be, I don't know. Cajun Spice. That doesn't seem right. Cajun Spice. There we go.
You're like the 6 Spice Girl.
Yes. But like, I'd have like Creole seasoning in my pockets. But you can't
pocket sand.
Yeah, exactly. But like, this probably isn't allowed at all. I'm not.
Well, what's allowed?
Right? Yeah, I don't know, but I wonder how I would actually do in that type of scenario.
Cajun Spice. I'm going to be thinking about that all night.
Oh my God. That was all I could think of, but whatever.
While looking at your IMDb, one thing that stood out mainly because it was at the top and that's where all the post-production things go. Can you tell me anything about the Invisible Raptor?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. So the Invisible Raptor, my fellow co-star from Shapeless, Bobby Gilchrist, he's actually my ex-husband. We are friends. We're in a good place. So people hear ex-husband and they're like, oh, what? But we're good. We love each other. We co-parent Fallon really well together. So that is his next film that he was producing and starring in. And we had chatted about like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if Fallon, our 5-year-old, could have like a little line in the movie? So then it became like I could be the mom and I could have like a little line. So we got to work for a day on that. And that film, I'm really excited about that. So it is about an invisible raptor who escapes the lab and is like wreaking havoc across the town. Comedy horror film. So well done, super hilarious. And I think people are really going to dig it. It's like I guess the concept is like Jurassic Park and Invisible Man combined. Right. And it's just this invisible dinosaur that's like wreaking havoc on the whole town. And it's really funny. It's really well done. I'm excited for people to see it.
Do you know if there's a date-ish, like a release date? Is it?
I'm not 100% sure on that release date. I know that they just wrapped. They just wrapped production. So they're doing, post-production and all of those things. But I think probably they're going to, I know that they're going to like be submitting to festivals and all that kind of thing as soon as they're done, with editing and all that good stuff. But I'm not sure of the exact release date, but if I hear of anything, I'll let you know.
So given that she has a line, does Fallon now have her SAG card?
Yes, which is something my ex Bobby and I both, we kind of like didn't really, I guess we didn't like stop to really think about it because all of a sudden
the first thing I thought of.
We were doing the paperwork and I was like, oh my God, wait, she's in SAG. You know what I mean? Like, here we are. You're 5 years old and here it took me so long to get into SAG, But yeah, she's got her SAG card. I don't know what she'll do. I mean, she says right now that she wants to be a singer and an actress. when she grows up, and I'm just like, follow your heart. I love you. Do what you want to do. You know, we'll love you. You go for it. Follow your dreams.
Absolutely. I'm sure you don't necessarily hate that. You're still singing it as well.
Yeah, singing has been it's been a journey. You know, Shapeless, the film we were talking about earlier, but the personal film that I did was about that. It was about this loss of my singing voice, because that's what actually happened to me in real life. So I was a singer growing up. Like, before I even really got into acting, I was singing. And when I started struggling with bulimia around age 14, and then that followed me for a while. And so when I was in college, I was really struggling, and I was trying to do something to help myself. I was like, I want to do something fun. I want to like get out of my own way. And so I signed up for voice lessons, and that voice lesson was really difficult because the teacher just kind of paused like 5 minutes in and was like, something's going on with your vocal cords. And I'm not sure how I actually went to the doctor, because I think on some level I knew, but maybe I wasn't able to face it. Went to the doctor, they looked at my vocal cords, and this scene is essentially in the movie, where the doctor said, you know, your vocal cords are all jagged. There's like, and this comes from like repeated acid reflux. Like, is something like this going on? And I couldn't face it. I just couldn't face it, because at that point, all I felt was like this deep level of shame, where the story I was writing in my head was like, you've ruined the one thing that you knew you were good at, that you loved about yourself, and now you can't do it anymore. And I could barely listen to music for years. I really just was like, you ruined it. It's all your fault. And that shame really perpetuated the bulimia. So singing came back around with Shapeless, because I was like, cool, I want to make a movie about a jazz singer losing her voice to bulimia. Well, I was really busy being a mom, writing, producing, being in pre-production. And then when Samantha, the director, was like, okay, it's time to record, I was like, oh shit. Oh my God. Wait, I have to sing. Like, I don't think I fully conceptualized it in my head. I was like, I got to go sing. And I was terrified. I really was dealing with like an immense level of shame still that I was working on, that I was releasing with my inner work and therapy, and even just being able to share in the collaboration process about these like vulnerable experiences really helped. But I ended up working with a voice therapist who was incredible, and who got me to a level of being able to sing again. And then singing started to really flourish in the past like year and a half or so. I met my partner, Will Dickerson, who is a singer-songwriter, incredible musician from New Orleans, like born and bred for musicians, plays like a gazillion instruments. And he's so talented and so generous and kind. And we would just start singing together. And like, it was like the more I sang, the less shame I felt and the more free I felt. But I still struggle with it. Sometimes my throat just like kind of closes up, or that mean voice in my head is just like, you can't do that anymore. You can't sing that note. You can't do this. But it's the more I kind of pull back and try to get out of my head and just sing, the better. And so we sing together. I've been working on some original musings that I've started to perform when we perform together. And I'm hopeful. Like, it feels fun and free when I let myself go. So I hope that I do plan to continue to do it. That's because great. It's something that I really love, that I just really didn't do for a long time because I felt so much shame.
Now, with the success of Shapeless and the merging of movies and music, could you see yourself writing more and writing where you are able to include music?
I would love that. That would be the dream. You know, I feel, as far as like film right now, I feel like I've been marinating with writing. Like, I keep feeling like I'll have little ideas, or I'll write down little scene snippets of different things. And you can't really force these things, right? It's like the muse can't be forced. You just have to sometimes you have to go live and be in the experience of living. But oh gosh, that is the ultimate dream would be to have like original music and have written this thing and star in it. But I'm not really sure where that exists right now. I think I've just been really trying to be in with the music and like singing. And I've been sort of learning the piano and the guitar. I've definitely got a little more on the piano. So I don't know. I don't know where it will lead. I hope for these things and I have dreams for these things, but we'll see.
That's the journey. That's great. I can't wait to I can't wait to see where it ends up and where you end up. A thing I want to do now is called the Milo Beasley Show frequently asked questions. I'm going to ask you the same 5 questions that I asked to all my guests on the show. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
So there's technically no right or wrong answers, I suppose. All right. So question number 1. What was the first concert you ever attended?
Oh my gosh. I think I was in high school. I was definitely in high school. Okay, was it Dave Matthews Band? No, it was Switchfoot.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember the song. They had like I can't remember their music, but I think it was Switchfoot. It was at like the local Baton Rouge, like there's like a little in Louisiana, there's like a little theme park, and it was like there at the little grounds on the theme park. I think that was my first concert.
That's pretty cool. All right, question number 2. I said spoilers. I mean,
I already asked you this question. Do I believe in ghosts? Yes. An emphatic yes. I'm still waiting to like visually see a nice ghost like in my life. But I really love this kind of thing. Like I love ghost stories. I love reading ghost stories. I love I used to watch all those like true paranormal shows where it was like
the ghost hunters and all that.
Yeah, ghost hunters. There was like a celebrity ghost stories I got into. It was like celebrities telling their ghost story experiences, and I just love it. I very much believe in ghosts. I haven't seen one, but I feel like I've felt.
Well, so have you done any of the like the New Orleans? By the way, how do you say it?
New Orleans.
Okay. Any of the tours that they have there? The ghost
Yes, I recommend the ghost tours if you're a tourist going to New Orleans. It's kind of like part ghost story, part bar crawl. But they're fun. Again, it's like you're walking through the French Quarter and you kind of get these history lessons with a dash of ghost stories. Like, and
Right.
So they say this person still haunts this restaurant to this day. And I love all that stuff, and then you stop along the way and you get a drink at a haunted bar, but they're fun. I recommend them.
All right. So singing ghost movie. That's the next one.
Wait, what is it? Oh, I'm like, what? That's the next question? No. Oh, singing ghost movie.
So that's your next project. A singing ghost movie.
Yes. I love it. Let's do it.
All right. Question number 3. In a little twist on a common question, in a movie about your life, who would play your parents?
Ooh, who would play? Diane Keaton, maybe, or Diane Lane.
Okay.
Maybe Diane Lane.
Okay.
And who would be a good dad? Could Ted Danson be my dad?
Absolutely.
I think everyone wants Ted Danson to be their dad,
Absolutely.
like their actor dad, right?
Last week's guest also said Ted Danson.
No way. That's so funny. Weird. What is it? Yeah, there's something like, if he could, I would love for him to be my actor dad one day.
Right.
I guess.
Yeah, that'd be great. Oh my God, I love Ted Danson. I loved Cheers growing up, so that was
yeah.
All right, question number 4. This is one of my favorite questions because it gives a chance to plug people who other people may not know about. But who is your favorite person to follow on social media?
Oh, well, can I say my partner?
Absolutely.
Okay. My partner, Will Dickerson. He's an incredible singer-songwriter. He has an album out called Welcome to Octavia. It's on all the streaming platforms. And he's so talented. So I love looking at his videos, but he's also really talented with like his visual components of what he does. So it's very colorful. It's very like fantastical. So I really love following him.
Good plug.
Yep.
Good plug.
Yep. It's true though. I get excited when he's got a post or something going on.
And then question number 5. This is by far my favorite question. I always ask this one, and I always ask this one on stage as well. But during your time in the industry, whether it's in a studio, on set, just out in LA, what was your biggest fanboy moment where you saw somebody and you either couldn't speak or you spoke too much?
Oh my
Or
God. I'm like giggling. I'm like laughing at myself right now because I was working on this TV show recently, a couple months ago, in Moab, Utah. Have you ever been there?
no.
It's beautiful. It's like red rocks, like gorgeous. Like the Colorado River comes right through. It's beautiful. So I was working there, like super random, tiny little Utah town. And I was in the hotel and I was coming down to the lobby to get ready to get to the van to like be carted off to set.
Right.
And a fellow actor friend of mine was also on the same episode of the TV show, a fellow actor friend from New Orleans. So his name is Creek Wilson. So Creek is this like old grizzled, like he's just this like awesome, got this Alabama accent, you know, it's just like great guy, like good heart. Anyway, so he was in the lobby. He was like, I saw your call time. I wanted to just say hello. And so we were chatting, right? So then I start to notice that like the van's late and I'm like, where's the van? And the anxiety starts to ramp up and I'm like, where's my van? I don't want to be late. I can't control this. Here's the anxiety. So I'm just like, kind of like talking to Creek, like, and so I texted the people, you know, the second AD or whatever. And I was still feeling like anxiety. And then this guy walks by and I do this like, and I like do a double take and then I do like a triple take. And then on the like 4th take, it's like registering and Creek goes, is that Keanu Reeves? And I'm like, it's Keanu Reeves. Oh my God, it's Keanu Reeves. So it's Keanu Reeves. And I was kind of having this moment, like, I'm in Utah, like what's going on? And he was not on the TV show I was working on. So I'm just like, here he is. So anyway, Creek runs over and starts talking to him. And I'm like, Kelly, this is your moment. Like, don't just stand here awkward, like off to the side. So I walk in and I'm like, hi, you're great. I love your work. You know, I'm a fan of yours. I really appreciate you. And we're actors too, and we're waiting for the van. And it was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, okay, bye. And then I like walked off to go catch the imaginary van that was still not there. And I just was like, what the heck did I just say? Like, I don't even know what I just said. And Creek had like asked me to take a picture of them, but like I didn't ask for a picture. And I just like walked away, like I finally, when I got to the van and I was talking to the guy who was driving the van and I just told him like what happened. And I was like beating myself up. I was like, I didn't get a picture. I didn't say anything cool. I didn't say that like my high school yearbook quote was from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Like, no, I just was being a weirdo as usual, but like, yeah, I don't know if that was a mixture of saying not enough and saying too much, all wrapped into one, but that happened.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Oh, that's and that's why it's my favorite question. Cause I mean, stories like that are just, they're so fun.
I know. And you think you're like, I'm going to be cool. I'm just going to be a normal person and like walk up and then you're
Right,
just
because
not.
I've learned that this happens literally to everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody, and everybody thinks they're going to be cool until Jeff Goldblum walks in the room.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
I was going to say, or until Keanu, or is it like, are Keanu Reeves and Jeff Goldblum immune because they're just like.
I think so. Oh, I think so. I don't. Yes. 100%.
They're immune to being right. Jeff Goldblum. So like, does he not fanboy about people? I don't know.
I don't know.
I wonder.
Hopefully one day I get to ask.
Well, ask him one day. Yeah.
Hopefully one day. So before we wrap up here, where can folks find you on the social medias?
I'm on Instagram at Kelly Murtagh, just my name put together. You can also follow at Shapeless the Film. And Twitter, I'm also on that at Kelly Murtagh. So those would be the best ways to follow me.
You pretty active on there?
Pretty active on, I would say Instagram mostly is the one that I'm the most active on. But I'm definitely not, it's never felt really authentic to me to like be all up in social media. Like I kind of do it when I feel intuitively like it's to do it. But Instagram is the one I'm on the most.
Any last words for folks who are watching? Again, Shapeless available what on I watched it on Tubi. I believe it's on Prime, Apple TV.
Yes. So if you're in North America, you can watch it on those platforms that Milo just mentioned. If you're in the UK, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, it's also available Apple TV, Amazon Prime, I think Virgin Media, Rakuten TV, and then hopefully it will continue to spread out into the world so everyone that needs it and wants to find it can watch it. And other than that, Zoo Crew, the book that we mentioned, is available on Amazon Prime as well, barnesandnoble.com. If you're in New Orleans, please go to all the local bookshops and buy it locally. That would be great. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but
you have any future any other projects you can speak about?
There, I just
effect.
Yeah, there's one I can talk about that just came out on Hulu called Reasonable Doubt. I'm on an episode of Reasonable Doubt. I think I'm in episode 7, and you can find me on there. And then I don't think I can talk about this other one that will be coming out, but follow me on Instagram and you'll find out when I can. Let you know.
Again, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I was absolutely looking forward to it, and it 100% exceeded my expectations. So thank you so much for hanging out with me.
Well, likewise. Thanks, Milo. It was so great chatting with you.
And everybody who is watching or listening, wherever you are at home, if you're watching on the YouTubes or listening on the podcast, thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. But most importantly, tell your friends. And it's Halloween weekend-ish. My guest next week will actually be Don Yesso. You may know him from Hocus Pocus as the bus driver, the immortal bus boy. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So catch us then. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.